Welcome in, and today I'm going to describe to you how the game is a lot more balanced than a lot of people think. Now, there is a narrative going around, which I agree with, which the game is more balanced now than it's probably ever been. I really like that for the game. That shows that the devs know what they're doing, at least for the most part. I think every comp in this game right now is viable. And it's not me saying, oh, this comp right here, let's say Brawl, for instance. This isn't actually like facts right here, I'm just saying as an example. Let's say Brawl only works 1% of matches. And I say, oh, it can be viable. No, that's not what I'm saying. So just getting that clarification out of the way. I do believe if a team goes full dive, full brawl, full flyers, full anything, I do believe they have more of an equal chance of beating each other compared to any season before. While there is still a problem, let's say certain characters or certain comps being a bit overtuned, like let's say for instance, I made a video the other day about Dive, and Dive right now, Magic for instance, was the highest win rate in all ranks for multiple seasons in a row, and they gave her more buffs. Like last season before the buff, she had the best win rate overall in the game, and then Daredevil was the #1 in Celestial and above, and #2 overall in all ranks and competitive in terms of win rate. And in terms of pick rate as well, in the top 10, 3 are dives, when only around, I would want to say off the top of my head, around 20% of the whole roster is dive characters, at least globally agreed upon dive characters. With Spider-Man now being called A S tier, yeah, I do think they need a slight nerf. But what I'm trying to get my point across right now is, I don't think anything is overtuned by a lot. I don't think anything is undertuned by a lot. I feel like everything is in reach of each other. No matter who you play, you can dominate lobbies. If you play Black Widow, you can dominate lobbies. If you play Blade, you can dominate lobbies. I don't know, there's not really a weak tank, I guess, thing. You can still dominate lobbies. You can still dominate lobbies with Adam Warlock, with Ultron, even though I think Ultron's a lot more better after his ult buff. And with all these characters, sure, there are still weaker ones like I just listed off, and there are stronger ones. But let's just look back at all of the global strong characters throughout Marvel Rivals history. Luna, season 0 was hard meta, and hard meta for the next following seasons until she got a 2-second, I believe, nerf on her ult, and she fell out of the meta just like that. Right now, she's not even, in my opinion, a top 3 strategist, even after the buffs they just gave her. With Rocket, he was pretty much trapped in triple support for a very long time. They changed that. Now he's actually viable in double support. Hela, she's been meta since season 0. Right now, I believe she is perfectly balanced. Sure, she can be very strong, but only if you have really good aim, and the kit itself, I do think, is balanced. She's not heavily overpowered. In my opinion, she can get dominated by a lot of characters, which is good. She can dominate and be dominated by certain characters. Don't take that out of context. Anyway, especially with some supports as well. With Loki, for instance, he was hard meta for a long while, and then suddenly he got I think I want to say a 33% nerf to his damage and a 20% nerf to his healing over the course of one season, nerfing him to the ground, making him probably the worst support in the game. They buffed him. I think he's in a perfect space right now. Sure, people may ban him and say he's meta, but that's really gonna happen if you have the least amount of characters in the entire game. Alongside, he is only as good as the best support in the game. If you gave him his own ult, I mean, he would be still in the middle of the pack. His base kit is very high risk, high reward. Only really good Loki players can actually succeed heavily on him. And if you look at other, let's say, tanks, Thing came out very weak. Right now, I think he's in a pretty good place. Maybe give him like a slight micro buff here and there, but I think he's very good. Hulk, people are complaining about him for a while. Look at him now. He is one of the best tanks. People say he's dead because of the tenacity system, but I really don't believe that, and I don't really think you should either. But they brought him back to life. Every character, which people say are dead, have been getting buffs. Strong characters have been getting nerfs. I mean, if you look at the patch notes, most of the buffs characters get are to weak characters. Most of the nerfs people get are stronger characters. I just want to explain a thing for you guys right now. I kind of do this every video, but it's kind of like a reflection on the community and kind of an introspection, if that's a word for it, about the community as a whole and the content creators in the sphere. There are some, I'll just list a couple right here, which I know you guys watch because I see my analytics, and I actually like them a lot like you guys do. There's one called Nug Nug. There's another one called Clouded Rio. I know you guys been loving every time I mention Clouded Rio, which I'll admit, he is a very good content creator. And even if you look at big content creators, across all roles, across everything, you will hear and you will see and you will experience an environment which they will say, hey, it is way more balanced than it's probably ever been. Sure, Sure, the newer characters are always busted. Just look at Phoenix, for example. Just look at Elsa, for example. Just look at Black Cat, for example. Just look at Gambit, for example. Emma, for example. The list goes on pretty much. There's only been really one weak character to come out as of recently, which was Blade. And then the other weaker characters were all the way back in season 1 and 1.5, I believe, with Mr. Fantastic and Thing. I don't know who came out first. I believe Thing came out first with Invis. Maybe wrong about that though. But anyway, to my point, while there are still problems with the balance in this game, I will fully admit that. Some characters do need buffs. Some characters do need nerfs. Some characters should not be touched at all, even though some people cry about them and make a public outcry. The balance in this game is getting better. Season by season. Last patch notes is probably one of the best they've ever given, where they only really missed on the Emma buff, which was a 300 decrease to her ult. And now that I mention it, Magic's buffs were 2 seasons ago, not last season, sorry about that. And even if you look at the other game modes which they focus on, let's say vampires, let's say zombies. Zombies to vampires, those are way more balanced now. Back then, Blade was running rampant in those zombie modes. I mean, if you weren't playing Blade, you were pretty much throwing now. I mean, look at the top 10 list of 4 stack, 3 stack, 2 stack, and solo. Sure, there's a lot of Moon Knights, but you still see a good bit of Squirrel Girls and even Blades and even Punishers up there. And if this shows they improved, sure, is that whole system perfect? No, there's a lot of Moon Knights, and his gameplay loop is just like fly in a circle in the air. Sure, it's weak with certain areas, but it's still heavily strong in a lot of other areas. But my point is, it's a lot more balanced than it used to. They are getting better. If they try something out, next time they're going to attempt it, it's going to be way better. Just look at the Loki one, for example. I will predict this right now. I played, I think, 5 matches of the Loki one with a friend, and we won 2 of them and lost 3 of them. We were the Avengers all of the time. I was Iron Man for, I think, 2 or 3 of them, Hawkeye for 1, and Widow for like 2 of them, something like that. And we beat him 2 times and lost 3, like I said. I know a lot of people were complaining that Loki is just way too powerful in that mode, and mark my words right now. I predict this. In the next game mode, which will release, which I think may be Ultron for the big mode. I think that's the next mainline Avengers movie, unless they're counting Civil War. But anyway, just watch. The Ultron or whatever mode is coming out next, where there would be one person versus the Avengers, it would be way more balanced than what it is now. That's just the way these devs are. Sure, they will stumble. Sure, they'll make mistakes. Sure, they'll make very, very questionable choices, if I'm being fully honest. Sure, they listen to the community a bit too much, in my opinion. Sure, it's amazing that they actually listen to their community. A lot of devs do not do that and lead their game into like horrible place. But with the Rivals devs, they actually listen. They did For the Vibes in an emo. I joked around in the YouTube short saying, hey, they should add a teammate called For the Vibes between Magic and Black Widow, and a person said they would never add that kind of controversy into the game. And then later on in an esports one, they made a little sticker that said For the Vibes. Like, they are in touch with the community. At least way more. Just let me repeat, way more than a lot of other communities out there. And I'm not saying we should agree with everything they say, but I say we should be grateful for what we're given. The game will never be perfect because there is way too many opinions on the game right now. My version of perfect is different from yours, even if you are a big fan of my content. Even if you agree with me on every support take I have, there is at least going to be one thing you don't agree with me on. And my version of perfect will never even be close to your version of perfect because of that one simple thing. Because if one thing is not right, it's not perfect. And with all these different communities, let's say Dive, Brawl, Flyers, Poke, whatever, support, each version of perfect is not going to be perfect in each other's eyes. And in my opinion, that's a good thing. You want dialogue in the game. Now, for the rage baiters, which is another form of toxicity, just more popularized now, you are poison to the game. I'm just gonna state that pretty bluntly. If your whole content is focused on rage baiting, and let's say you're focusing one person for an entire video, in quick play for example, you are purposely going out of your way to make someone else's life miserable so you can get paid, and you call it rage bait content. Again, I'll just say it pretty bluntly, you're miserable. You make a living off of making other people's lives worse, and then you're proud of your content. Sorry about the little tangent, I just hate these content creators who market themselves as purely rage bait. Oh, I'm rage bait this, I'm rage bait that. Just get off the game and ruin your own life instead of other people's, even though I think your lives are already pretty ruined yourself. But what I mean in total is we need civil discussion in this game. that's very good. And you may say, well, you just called out a bunch of people and said they're miserable. Yes, I call out toxicity. If people are toxic, sometimes the best thing is to be toxic. Now, people who are civil, you be civil too. I've done that with my comments multiple times. I've done that with hate commenters who made videos about, well, my videos. If you're nice, I'll be nice. If you ask questions and you're nice, I'll answer. If you're being toxic, if you're being entitled, if you're pretty much anything on the related side of just toxic, I won't be as nice. That's just a simple fact. And as a community, and I'll try to wrap the video up by saying this, as a community, we should have civil dialogue when people are civil. But if people are being horrible, they should be called out. In terms of balancing, to wrap it all around into this again, we need to have discussions about what actually is best for balance and meet in the middle. Let's say, for instance, supports want all dives damage to be 1, and all dives want their damage to be 100. I know that's kind of a generalization, hyperbole in a way, but then we'll be like, okay, we'll meet in the middle. Best for both worlds. Now, will that ever happen? Not really in practice, but you see my point. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, though. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next YouTube video. See ya.